Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this second webinar with our expert, Roberto Dallavilla. Good morning, Roberto, and thank you for being here
Antonella.
with
Good
us
morning,
today.
everyone.
Roberto is technical director of Skeinholding, this international organization focused on the implementation and distribution of virtual and augmented reality. This is the second webinar because last week with Roberto, we had some insights about the BIM philosophy, the use of the BIM object in the lighting and furniture sector. And he explained us the importance of the standardization of the programs that use this technology. Today, Roberto will introduce us in the world of the augmented and virtual reality, focused for sure in the lighting and furniture sector. As usual, he will give us many examples for the lighting sector and furniture, and he will be available for your doubts and insight that you want to have about this topic. So don't be shy. You can use the chat and raise your hand to have a direct dialogue with Roberto. Just a short introduction. I remember you that this webinar is organized by Luce Veneto as partner of the European project SILEO. So we are one of the 7 partners of this European project that aims at supporting the SMEs, European SMEs in the lighting and furniture sector to be more resilient and competitive thanks to the use of the new technologies with a huge range of different typology of new technologies that can support the companies. This project includes many activities, for sure the training activities like the today webinar, but we have also many other activities with also direct vouchers to companies that attend our internal calls. The next call will end on 12th of April and will concern the advanced technologies, technology uptake projects. So if the companies want to participate in this call, remember to call your direct contact in the country, and it's possible to have money to reach the voucher to have the direct and customized support consultancy from one of the technology provider selected by the consortium of the project. I remember you that we have also vouchers for companies that want to participate in hack days. We have 2 hack days, one in Romania in June and one in Padua in October. So you have the opportunity to have a direct dialogue in person with the technology provider. And we hope that there will be an opportunity to have also new opportunity and to know these new technologies for the companies. So this is the context of the consortium SILEO. You can call us to give you more information. So I let the floor to Roberto to start this webinar, and we let you know if we have person that need more information from about your topic.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Antonella, and good morning, everyone. Today, as last time we discussed about BIM, the solution of BIM, 3D solutions, and so on. Today we will discuss about augmented reality and virtual reality, such as mixed reality. So we will add something more into the floor today. The concept and the idea of today is to share the technology, understand the technology, and see some of the activities that we or also others has developed just only to give you a brief introduction of that technology. Then, as Antonella say, whatever is the request or information or discussion that you would like to go ahead, we can easily manage and discuss during this meeting all together. Let's make a brief introduction of who we are. So as a company, we are an Italian-based company dedicated to IT and technologies. So inside our Skeinholding, we have different kind of sectors, such as I say, IT with Skengia. Then we have BIM with SkeinBIM, BIM Vision with the part of marketing sectors, and so on. So many different sectors into it. Different companies all over the world. So we have also the facility management, the reverse engineering of the building. So we are a group with over 60 employees all over the world in different countries, but the headquarters is over here in Italy. And we are completely into the field of construction fields, because we support most of the companies in any different kind of sector, plus also engineers and constructions. This is just a brief introduction of who we are and what we do. Regarding the today discussion, so let's introduce the content. So we will understand, first of all, the augmented reality and the virtual reality. So which kind of tools they are, why they are important to use it. Then the impact of virtual reality in our industry, in the furniture and lighting. The way to use it is exactly, let's say, the same or similar. The most thing is how we can, or what is the impact of this kind of new technologies into our buildings and in our sectors. And then what it will be the future, and why it's important to use ER and VR into the technologies, such as I say, mixed reality. Because we have seen also with a really big player in the technologies like Apple, that mixed reality is starting to be more and more into our markets. And it's also important to use it into the fields, because it's something that gives to the user a better experience on the product. But let's go deeper in the discussion. So let's discuss about augmented reality. So first of all, what is the augmented reality? That it's something that sometimes when we discuss with our customer, they always mesh the augmented reality with the virtual reality. So the augmented reality is a new technology that it's a combination between a 3D world, a 3D model, combined into the real world. So it's not something that you need particular devices or any kind of particular things to apply, because it's not totally virtual, but it's a combination between 3D models and the real world. That is the most important thing to remember. This is something extremely important, and it's always more and more into the market right now, because even on connected, as we will see later, to, for example, e-commerce or product configurators, that will help the customer to be more focused in that part and in that field. There is, as you can say, a collaboration between virtual and the real world, but in a particular way that there are no a full integration on it. What does it mean? It means that, for example, on augmented reality, the model, the 3D model can recognize the space, so the floor, the wall, the ceilings, and so on. But if there is a component in the middle, in the ER, the components will overlapping one to the other one. Okay. We will see later that in the mixed reality, we will have a perfect match between the real world and the 3D models. After that, the application in lighting and furnishing. Why it's important and why it's always more and more common to find it. Because the ER technology can help to, for example, enter in details like a showcase, like a virtual environment, like create visualize differentiations for furnishing and lightings. So we will see later some example also from IKEA or from our side, that it's possible to see the real product in your rooms, in your space, so that it's extremely important to customize the experience of your final customers. That's why it's always more and more important to have it into the website, into the e-commerce, into the configurators of the products in the online, because in that way you can easily give a better experience to the customer, and it's simple, let's say, to approach the customer itself. That's why it's extremely important, the customer experience. The customer experience with the ER is something that will help the customer to understand if, for example, a chair is big enough or small enough into their room, because we can position multiple chairs into a space, or we can position multiple lamps into an area, and that one will help to understand if, for example, the space is enough. So we increase the customer experience, and that one will increase the engagement and the satisfaction around the product and around the experience that they have it. How it works? ER works with 3D models. So for every product that you want to implement into the ER, we need to have a 3D model dedicated. Why it's dedicated? Because we need a 3D model that is accurate, but not too much, because otherwise it's taking too much time to load into the technology itself. So due to that one, last time we were discussing about BIM, and also BIM can be well connected to ER models, because it's a good compromise between the shape and the lightness of the products, because it's really important that we need it light. Imagine that you are with your devices, with your mobile, and you need to upload a lamp that it's 100 megabyte of weight. So you can imagine that it took, maybe if you have a 5G connection, it's faster, and that it will be the future. But with the connections that we have here in Italy, for example, it takes maybe 1 to 2 minutes to upload it. So due to that one, the experience of the user is not that good. So for that reason that we have to provide light models, but accurate in the development. After that, the devices. As explained before, we use mobile devices or tablets. Right now, all of them are, or let's say in the last 2 years, all of them are approaching the ER through the mobile technology, because the ER is always more around us. If you see, for example, one implementation that comes, I think last year or 2 years ago, it was also on Google Maps. If some of you is using Google Maps and they have a device that is ER dedicated, like the iPhone, like Samsung or so on, you will see that you have the possibility to walk with the Google Maps, and Google Maps will show you the indications directly on your mobile through the ER. Okay, so if you need to turn right or left, go straight, stop, and whatever. So that it's a very new implementation and good implementation to use it, especially when you are in the big cities where it's difficult to walk around, understand the proper ways and so on. So that it's really important. And then the technologies. As a Skeinholding technology provider, we have all the different kind of possibility to integrate the ER into the web applications. It can be app, it can be website, as I say, and all the different kind of connections, as I say. It's important that through the cameras of the devices, we can use it. So that's why it's important to manage and to discuss on it, because due to that point, we have different approach and different application on these matters. Okay, so those are the three, as a milestones that are important for the ER. So 3D models dedicated, devices, so devices that is able to use and to be connected with ER, and the technologies that can be applied on different web situations, like, as I say, e-commerce shops and so on. 3D models. This one, for example, it's a dedicated 3D models, and it comes from BIM. So it's one of the developments that we have done. It's a furnishing, so in this way you can see it's a tab. But you can see that, for example, this is from the kitchen side because there is on the top of it the spring related to adjust it and so on. And as you can see, the details on it, they are pretty high. Here you need to consider that you can, in the website, you can rotate it, you can adjust it, and you can move it as you wish, just to see the 3D model. But this kind of 3D model, we use it also through mobile, through our Skeinforce, to see it in details. Here is just a brief, let's say, video that I do it yesterday just to show you the integration on it. So as you can see, through the web, I can activate it. And here you see that this is our model, that it's that you can adjust in sizes, because normally the size that you have is 1:1, okay? But then you can increase it, you can reduce it, you can adjust it, and you can move into the space. Here you see it's on a furnishing, but anyway, you can apply whatever you want. As I said, it's important now. The technology allows you with the ER to recognize if it's a wall, if it's a floor, if it's a surface, and then you can apply over there the model. You can see in the details that directly from the web. This is through the mobile. So from the web, we integrate the model, and from here you see that I can rotate it, I can move it, I can take pictures as well. I can apply, for example, dimensions on it directly from ER. So that is the important part of the activity, and that is the experience that we are saying and that we were discussing before, to give something more to your customer, to give something better to your customer to understand your product in the real life. Later on, I will give you also some suggestions, some possible developments related to ER and related to your products, because it's really important also having the proper idea on it. But as you can see, you see that you can easily move it and easily adjust it, reduce it, increase the size. You have already the details on it, so you can really manage as you wish. And then technologies. The image is just to give you an idea that the technologies or the buttons can be applied everywhere, through an app, through the website, through e-shops, e-commerce, e-shops, through product configurators. So imagine that your customer can configure your product, apply in the real life and say, yes, I like it, or no, let's change the color, or let's change the size, and then order it through the e-commerce, for example. So that is a proper understanding of ER in these cases. This is another way, another approach where you can see. So we have, for example, the product. I can visualize it. I can position it into a real space, as you can see here, and then I can buy. The advantages and the benefits of ER, what there will be. First of all, implement the virtual showrooms. So you can enable you and your customer to understand your products, understand your collections, and then use your products into their areas. Then we can configure the products. So as a manufacturer, we can consider, for example, in the chair here, that I can change the color of the chair. I can change the color of the legs. I can change also the type of the chair, because I can change completely and personalize completely the shopping experience of the customers. This is really important, not only for the final user, but imagine also for the interior design that need to create the interior design of a hotel for a room. So they can prepare a simple plain room without any components on it. We can position, for example, QR technologies all around, so where there is the bed, the furnishings, the lightings, and so on. And then I can activate it through an app, and I can see all the ER models into my rooms to understand if they look fine or looks bad, or if I need to change something, or if they are too big or too small. So that is something that is entering every day more and more into our process and into our day life, as you will see. Maybe if you check also some of the most important app for shoes, for example, or watches, luxury watches, and so on. They always give experience on that matters. Then marketing and branding. So during to that one, of course, that we have more and more tools that we can apply into the marketing and branding itself. So we can have powerful tools that can implement the potentiality of it, to make innovation, to make interactive experience, to increase the potentiality of every single customers. We always need to consider to enter in that mood, in that way, to give a better experience of them. Let's see some case study, for example. As I said before, we implement, I just take IKEA just only because it's a simple way to see it, and there is a beautiful video that can explain you what is the engagement, let's say, of the users. So let me share the other screen. Just a second.
Roberto,
See?
what's in your experience the main sectors that use the augmented reality? Furniture?
Sorry?
Other sectors. Can you hear me? So
Yes.
the main sectors that use the reality, augmented reality in your experience, the furniture one.
So let's say that the furnishing one is the one that is most in advance compared to all the others. Right now, we are also approaching the ER on BIM as well. So due to some some devices, for example, we can show in the project where pipes comes, or what is the stratigraphy of a wall, or anyway the difference between the refurbishing of the buildings or so on. So even in that area, we are using and starting to using much more. Okay, so that is the different kind of market, let's say, that we are seeing. We were thinking, and we are developing with an international company in lightings, also a particular devices that it's a gadget, let's say, that it's a QR gadget with the different lightings, different kind of lightings on it. And so the user can select, they give it to their customers and so on, and you can put in your room and you can activate it. For example, the table lamps, the floor lamps, the ceiling ones, all that kind of things you can activate it through the app. So also that one, it's a new experience that the users are giving to their, let's say, to their customer itself. But yes, here furnishing, it's much more in advance on that field. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. So this is just a very simple movie on it from IKEA, where you can see that they can activate it directly in the room. So they have the room, they plan it, and then they can say it through ER, for example. So that it's extremely nice and interesting from my point of view, that give you the idea of the technologies that there is behind it, that it's really simple, really fast to use it, always through a mobile. So a tool that it's always into our hands every day. Let's say not every day, but every second. Okay, so that is the part that is important. Making it easy. Now it's Easter time, and for example, into some of the Easter eggs, there are also some components, some play, let's say, for the babies, and over there the ER is already into it through an app that in this way they can activate the small figures, they can play with it, they can do whatever they need it on that, also the kids. So that's why it's a technology that it's really user friendly, as you see with the IKEA, as you see with our BIM ER, for example, in Skeinholding for the users. But from the other hand, it's really important for the market, let's say, and also for the company itself. Skeinholding's BIM ER, we see before the video, that it's a BIM ER viewer dedicated to all the users of our platform that can want to understand the product before the installation. So for example, they need to install a big tools or a big machines or a lighting, and they can easily understand if they like it or not, or if the size is too big or too small, how to apply, if the room around it's enough, before to buy and before to apply into the buildings itself. So the important thing, as I say, it's also that one needs to implement that area. Then regarding VR, so I think that on ER, we discussed already, and it's pretty clear. I think that it's a mix between 3D object and the reality, let's say, so the real world, with a combination of possibilities, such as changing of colors, sizes, increase, reduce the components, etc., etc. And that is one part. The other side is VR, so the virtual reality. Here we enter in the details of, for example, metaverse, so in the metaverse and so on. So the VR, it's a totally different approach compared to ER, because here it's an immersive technology, something that we need to enter into it directly, because it's a totally different kind of world compared to the real one. In the virtual reality, we can really manage whatever we wish in a different way, because we need particular tools, so particular devices to use it. We need, for example, not a 3D model, but a 3D world that is completely different in that way. So we need a 3D environment on it. Consider that talking about VR, it was a technology already discussed in the 1992. So almost 30 years ago, it was already something that it was into it. There was also, I think, some movie with the metaverse into it and so on in the past. And now, due to the new devices, it's something that it's always growing and growing in different approach, in different ways. But the important thing is that you need to consider that if we are, it's 3D models of a component, of a technology, of a whatever you wish into the real world, here it's a 3D environment. So it's not just a model, but it's a real environment, completely different, that you need to create. And you need to work on it. It's really immersive for the users, and it's not so common to approach it such as the ER, because they need particular devices. The devices that we need to use, they are not a simple, let's say, smartphones or tablets, but they are viewers. We will see later the technologies that they need to use it, that they are viewers. There are also the cardboards, but they are not so, they don't give it to you such a big experience like the viewers that we will see later. And then, of course, the metaverse. It's something that since the last 2 years, we are always having more and more details on it. In the beginning, VR was understanding like a simple way to manage, to have a playing area, let's say, just for play and play on games and so on. Now with the metaverse is something different, because with the metaverse, we took the 3D environment, but we move it to a virtual space dedicated to some particular kind of scopes, like offices, like medical scopes. And we will see later also here some examples. This is the 3D environment. This is an e-shop directly in the metaverse from, in this case, it's Nike. So over here, you see that they have not generated just only a 3D model, but they generate an environment around it. So it's a real shop, let's say, where the user can buy, and can buy, of course, a real product if it's connected to an e-shop, traditional, and so on, or they can buy the NFT models. So the as you can say, the digital product directly. So different approach. You see that also on the NFT, they have different kind of scope, like, of course, products like this one, like 3D figures, like arts as well. So even that it's part of the metaverse, and that is something that it's like a real product, but dedicated only for that scope, that is the digital scope, with his own digital ID dedicated that no one can replicate it. So it's like a product, but it's a digital one. Devices. We have multiple kind of devices. Here we need to consider that in the past, I think that it was beginning of 2005 to 2006, something like that. One was also Google with their devices, with the Google Lens, but then the time on that time was not ready. The market was not ready. So now we have different kind of devices like Meta Oculus or Apple Vision Pro, even if here there are different kind of approach, because Oculus are mostly dedicated to virtual reality, metaverse, and so on. Apple Vision Pro, it's a mixed reality as well. So they can mix and match the virtual reality with the ER in the mixed reality version. But anyway, those are the devices that, some of the devices, let's say, that we need to use to, they need to use to apply and to work on these kind of applications dedicated. So they are not simple smartphones, they are not devices different to that, it's something more. So they are really devices that need to be worked on these kind of technologies. And then the metaverse. Here, as you can see, there is just a simple image that explains you a little bit the metaverse. I mean that it's a real space in the digital area, okay, where, as you can see, people can meet each other, can talk to them, can discuss, because the metaverse has all around you not only the possibility to see the different, as you can say, the different areas and so on, but also the possibility to interact with the other people into the same area dedicated to it. So these are the three main milestones into our sector. What is the impact? And let's explore the virtual reality, for example. So first of all, is the immersive virtual environment. As I told you before, there are environments dedicated to VR that need to be immersive. You need to be into it. And that is the most, the best experience that you can have with you and your customers. Into that one, of course, that you can interact with the models. I don't know if some of you is testing this kind of technologies, but for example, you can, right now with the new devices, your hands are recognized. So into the virtual environments, you can work and bring the products with you. You can play with that. You can, as you can say, work on it. You can assemble it. You can manage. So it's more and more in details, these kind of technologies. So in this way, the user can have a realistic and an engaging manner the way to use this kind of 3D models technology connected. So the immersive virtual environment is something nice. Of course, that if I think that maybe having a virtual environment right now for an industry is not that much easy, considering that the final users are not having such a lot of devices in every home and so on. So it's something that it will come since the next 2, 3, 5 years, absolutely, that everyone will have some devices into the home to use it, into the houses to use it for the VR. But from the other hand, imagine to create like a virtual environment during an exhibition. Giving the possibility to, for example, I don't know, assembling the products, or to make the maintenance on the product itself, or to give the feeling to touch the product itself. Okay, so that is something that I can see more in this time and in this period for a company. Lighting configurations. With the VR, as we need to create a virtual environment, we can also create the lighting visualizations. For example, I can enable to on off the lights. I can show the the photometric of my lights into an area, into my rooms. I can try, let's say, to sit on a table and see, for example, how it will look into this table or this furnishing into my space. Okay, so it's allowing the customer to make different experience and testing and configure also new products for helping on the purchasing decisions. So also here, imagine not maybe for the final user, but imagine to for an architect or an interior design to be there and having the possibility with your technical departments to enter in your environment and checking the lamps, checking which one the lightings that can be more suitable for their buildings, what is the light that they are expecting for their lighting, so having the possibility to see more and more in details on that. So that one, absolutely, it's something that can help the purchasing decisions to be done in the proper way, absolutely, because it's a new experience that you're giving to your customer and also to the users of your products. And then, of course, the possibility to, let's say, develop in details the product design of it. Why? Because we do not need to think only on a product, on the final purpose, but also when we are assembling it. The possibility to understand, for example, if the assembling of my furniture is taking too much or not, because I can replicate the single components, I can work on it, and I can see if for my employees it's easy or not to assemble it, or if there is any way to make it easier compared to different products. So in that way, I can also help the production side to understand if it looks good in that matters or not. Also a product that I have designed and I have working on. Okay, so that it's possible because, as I was explaining before, some of the devices are already recognizing the hands. So you can really work with your hands, and you will see in the virtual reality that your hands will be animated and will do exactly what you are doing in the real world. And this one can help you from a manufacturing point of view. Okay. So those are some, for example, of the experience that you can have it on VR, such as also, for example, with the product demonstration. So imagine to have the possibility to interact with the product and give the possibility to manage it and to work on in an easy and simple way, also with your product. We see in the past, for example, that also I think that it was Fiat when they are using systems like I think that it was for the Fiat 500, the new ones, that the user can interact in ER and select, for example, the color, or connect, for example, the accessories, and you will see the accessories that will come into the cars on that way. Okay, so that one, for example, it's something that is really interesting for a final user, to have the possibility to create his own car, generate in the proper way, and so on. Or, for example, the finishing on this. So let me share my screen that I share it to you, a movie related to an interaction on product demonstration on it. So here, for example, the user is with the Oculus, and you will see that there are the hands. Sorry, this is an environment, a 3D environment dedicated to VR. Okay, and what they can do over here, the user, they can apply new materials on it. So as you can see, this is related to the floor. You can decide the color and then throw the ball on the floor, and they will activate a new kind of floor. Okay, or such as, for example, also for the walls. And here a brand new material is on the floors. Okay, so those are on the walls. So those are the possibilities that is giving you the VR in terms of product demonstrations. Imagine to an exhibition to have something like that one, that you can show to the customer, that they can play with the finishing, they can work on it, they can see, for example, a brand new area, and they can select, for example, here, a different color for the furnishing dedicated, or for the lightings, or for whatever is the product that there is in your ER, okay, VR, sorry. So that is also some more experience that you can offer to the customer to let them understand in details all the possibilities, let's say, dedicated. Okay, so this is very important. So product demonstrations, that is important because, as I say, for an exhibition and so on, you can easily give a feedback to the user in a different way compared to the standard products. And it's always something that is taking the, as I can say, the loop to all the other people that run through the exhibition, for example, to understand better the products and what you can offer. Then the virtual product testing. For example, in that way, VR can help you to have your labs, and into your labs, you can easily make your testing on the product. So, for example, you can, as I said before, try to assemble it, or maybe you can also try, for example, with to have a photogrammic connected, the light photogrammic connected on it, to see if the light in a room, how it looks like, if it's fine or not before to develop it. So there is a lot of interactions between real products and the VR, for that matters. In this way, for example, also a simulated environment can be very helpful, because in that way we can understand, for example, if working with this technology, we introduce, for example, the lighting devices into the water, and if it's IP, we can see if there is, before to produce it, if there is any possible critical point. For example, if the water can come in, because I can cut the 3D model, I can work on it, I can manage it as I wish. And then, of course, collaborative design processes. In this way, that is one of the most important things. You can, with the VR, facilitate the collaboration between you, your products, and designer architects in virtual spaces. With one, for example, of the startup that we have in Skeinholding, we are starting this kind of process. So over there, what it will happen, that with the designers and architects, we will design the rooms and the houses or the hotels as they wish, with all the interior side, and then they use the devices to enter it, walk through, and see how they looks like, to understand if the space is enough, if the aesthetic part is enough. So imagine the possibility and the infinitive possibility that you have over there, to see also the lightings, because we position lightings into it, and then they can activate and deactivate. So we can see exactly the lights that I will have into my room or into my hotels, dedicated to that, because I can interact with lighting, such as with the furnishing. I can bring the furnishing and move it. I can change the color of the lighting. So I can really play on it a lot. And that is something that in the future, it will be more and more important, because the collaborative design process, it's something that will help the manufacturer to be more and more closer to designer, architect, and the final clients that want to use their products into the final building itself. So that part is really important, and it's something that I think that in the future, not of course in a couple of years maybe, but you need to be focused and you need to be ready too. And here in the collaborative BIM design process, BIM is also part of it, because if you need to consider that in BIM, I can go through the devices for the VR to see how it looks, the buildings. So if in the BIM there is my product, in my BIM of the building, my product can be virtualized in VR, and the user can understand how they work and how can be used into the building itself. Okay, so that part is also very important and fundamental. After that, what it will be the future of VR from our point of view? First of all, the possibility of the personalizations. Imagine, I know that maybe for a manufacturer point of view is difficult, but imagine that every user or every customer can create by their own the product that they wish, and then ask you to do it, to create it. So this one will be something that it's really a service that will be tailor-made, but in some possibility, in some, let's say, in some projects, it's something that they are already asking for. So the VR can help them to let's create the project that they wish, the product that they wish, simulating it and see if it's the proper one or not, that they like it. Then the virtual design consultations. That is something important because it will allows your customer to explore all the possibilities that they can have with your products. Imagine the possibility to have, for example, a space that you can easily manage, and over there the user can get access through also the web, maybe, or only through the devices, and they can see the products, they can understand the products, they can read the technical details and technical specifications on it. Okay, and that is part of fundamental part of the job, because it's dedicated to them, and it's also very important to be more and more in touch with your customer. And then of course the sustainability of them. From our point of view, you need to consider that virtual showrooms, the design consultancies, and so on can help to reduce the impact to the environment, because we don't need to create from in the real product, but of course we can use it in a virtual solutions. Consider that I think last year they have done already some as I say in English, some concert on VR in the metaverse. Okay, and why they do it? Because in this way, first of all, they give the possibility to be as much as possible people into it. So the possibility to see the virtual showrooms, the design consultations comes through that one instead of a meeting. Okay, and then also because as I can say, it's something that it's always more and more into now the thinking of a daily use perspective point of view. Okay, so that is very important. That it's a part that we need to take in consideration also the environment impact of it. Imagine also all the exhibitions that they are right now, all the manufacturers like you that goes to the exhibitions, such as all the people that comes to. In the future, maybe, and then all the pollutions that we will generate in that way. In the future, maybe not tomorrow, but in a couple of years, also the exhibitions will come on this point of view. So to have a virtual exhibition that help you maybe to be more visible in different countries where you don't need to go. And from the other point of view, also on an environment point of view, the impact will be totally reduced and dramatically better compared to what is now. So even those are points that we need to think on. And also because, as you see, or for what I can see, the differences that there are compared to a few years ago is that the people are more open to such a different kind of technologies, because also the big player comes into the field on those technologies, so they help to let them understand better and to be more and more open to all the users all over the world. So those are some of the possible future for the VR industry. So first of all, the driven product personalization, that is absolutely very important. So give the possibility to make a tailor-made products, maybe not in your field, but if we think about luxury cars, or if you think about those things are very important. Design consultancy. In the BIM, for example, we already use the Oculus on site, or such as, for example, the different approach on it, to see it and to understand the products, to see where there are issues on the sites and so on. And then, of course, virtual solution dedicated for showrooms and design consultancies. What it will be the future? So first of all, a synergy between ER and VR. As I discussed before, there is the mixed reality that is coming now from in the fields. What does it mean? With the mixed reality, we mix in a really proper way the ER with the VR into the model itself. So this one will allow the customer to interact with the products in a better way, to help them to work on it in a different way on it. Such as also the product configurators. We see before for chairs, for so on, the infinitive possibility to integrate ER and VR in the developments of it. Why it would be important? It's important, the mixed reality in our sector, because in this way I can be more precise also to positioning the components, because the mixed reality will recognize if there is something in the middle that is like an obstacle, like something like that one, that will not allow me to position the product in the proper way into my room or into my areas. So also that part, it's really important. Related to, for example, to the final product, I would like to show you another movie related to ER, a mixed reality, sorry, dedicated to another sector, but that it's really interesting on it from a point of view. This is one of the, I think, most important watch market all over the world, and what they have done, they give the possibility to all their user before to buy, just printing this to see the watch that they want to buy. Okay, these are the potentiality of using ER, or to have it over there, position it to see it in details. Of course, that it's not like a proper product, absolutely, but from another point of view, they give the possibility to see it and understand how it will looks like, and they will help to increase the experience of the user, to let them offer them to better and easily buying the products and see the products. This is a watch, but it can be easily a door, it can be easily a furnishing like a chair, or it can be such as also a light. Absolutely, why not? On the floor, on the wall, in the ceiling, you can position your QR and you can easily see how it looks like with the details dedicated. Okay. So these are some of the experience that I would like to share it to you, just to give you some ideas also from different kind of markets, how the ER and VR, especially in mixed configuration, they will come with mixed reality. And then we have showcasing for sustainability solutions. This one is something that, for example, we are pushing more and more also from our side in terms of company, because with our startup, we are helping to predict through the mixed reality, for example, some of the possibility on sustainability solutions also during the construction fields. So through the ER, they can understand, and mixed reality or VR as well, they can easily understand if there is any issue related to the quantity of concrete, or if there is an issue regarding the quantity of lightings, or if the lightings are too much compared to the needs, because they can see, they can activate it. Such as also, for example, if they need to make a hole, with the mixed reality, we can give a better understanding to them if there are some components that it's coming through the buildings or into the streets or whatever. Okay. Now I will share it to you another video related to that one, that is mostly in the construction fields and is still in this is our tools that we are using, okay, with our technologies. Okay. This is, for example, an American company that we really well known, and the concept is that this is into the fields, okay, and due to these particular kind of devices, we can easily see and manage the building site as well, connected, you see, that I can see the model, that I can see if there are any issue on the project, and this is a mixed reality because I can see both and I can easily understand if there is any issue because one is combined to the other one to give the proper solution on it. Okay, so through a simple device, as you see, we can easily manage and easily see what we will need to do in our building site to see it. Okay, also here you can see from the image that there is nothing around it, but here I can see that there is buildings on it. Okay. Over here, you can imagine in the future with the potentials of AI, what are the developments that we can have for the next steps, for the next futures, okay, dedicated to that one. The same technology that you see here can be applied to your products to see, for example, the lightings, or to see the photometric point of view, so if they need to be more lighting, less lightings, and so on. So also that part is really important. And this is a very simple way to see the mixed reality. So as you can see, this is a VR. So it's a fully digital environment dedicated to the model and that we use our components. This is a ER. As you can see, this image, I like it because it's very simple but very effective. So you see that the model is into my world, the 3D model, but it's too close to my sofa. Okay, this one is the mixed reality. So you see that I still have the product with a better finishing on top of it, but that recognize also if there is something in the middle, so if there is an obstacle and so on, to have it in the perfect way into my world. So that is very important, and that is fundamental to show, because in this way you can easily understand the difference between VR, ER, and mixed reality. Here, as you can say, having integration between ER and VR absolutely demonstrate a synergy between the technology, and then can absolutely increase the customer experience, as we see before, the customer loyalty, because they know that they can use your products in such a particular way, and that they can easily manage, and they can like it. There will be a brand differentiations, because as we say before with Antonella, it's a technology that is starting to be in the market. So it's very important to be also the first to be in, to make a difference on the different brands, such as also, of course, an increase of sales. Because the experience, especially with the ER or mixed reality, the experience that you are giving to the user, it's really a very nice feeling, a very nice experience. So that one will also increase the brand perception, such as also the increasing of the sales. Then product presentations. We always talk about the showrooms and so on, but also imagine to have a brochure, and through your app you can activate the ER or mixed reality on the brochure directly, and you can share to the users the possibility to see the products, the possibility to make an ER dedicated, a video on ER, so you can see the component that will be unboxing, or can be the, as you can say, changing the colors, or it can be configured directly from your brochure. Even that one is something that in terms of product presentations and brand differentiations, it helps you to make different things related to your products and to be more attractive to the final users or the final customers. And then, of course, this one will also give it to you a better appreciations on the products, such as also better understanding, because I can see in details how it will looks like. We did a sample for a company in a different sector, totally different sector. It's still not developed fully, so it's not on the market, so I cannot show it to you. But over there, the ER through the app will recognize the image. Recognizing the image, I will have my 3D model on top of my brochure, and through my mobile, I can easily manage the configuration of it to have the proper article code, and also to make a, as you can say, a division of every single component. So the users, in this case was architects, they can see all the components that are into the same products, and that give you also particular details and give you more branding, a better branding reputation. And then, of course, with the ER and VR, as we say, it's something where metaverse and so on, they are pushing much on the market. So it will be absolutely the next technology in the future that need to be implemented in the fastest way. So due to that one, implement already a strategy related to that component, or anyway into that area in ER, VR, or MR in mixed reality, is something that is really important, and create innovative and sustainability solutions to give a different point of view of your company in the market itself. Where also will be implemented more the VR technology? Absolutely into a customer-centric approach, especially in particular kind of fields, maybe not on furnishing and in lightings, but if you imagine to have VR solution dedicated to understand the customer how to install a product, how to make the maintenance on that products. Imagine the big machines that need the maintenance. You can easily manage through a video call and app dedicated a VR solution that is help you, or ER solution that is help you to understand step by step how to make the maintenance on it. That is really important right now. Then there is a question, sorry. The VR ER customer experience is now limited only to the site. We can see the object, but we don't really feel it. Other sensors are not yet available. In particular, we can't touch the furniture to understand its texture, etc., etc. Okay, and it's very important while selecting the product. However, as the technology continues evolving, it will be interesting how the sense of touch is incorporated, maybe through haptic gloves or suites. Marta, this is a good question. Absolutely. Right now, let's say we don't have the feeling. Absolutely. There are already globes that are working on it to have the haptic. The only thing is that it will be right now pretty tough to having the proper feedback on it. Let's say that they, in terms of smells and so on, there are also, the cinema 4D and so on that is giving you that attitude, because with the smells maybe it's a little bit easier to manage compared to the touch. So gloves can be absolutely one of the idea, and it's something that the manufacturers of IT technologies are already working on. I see it a little bit not so close to our time, because we will need a little bit more of time in that matters. Consider that just only 2 years ago there was a proper implementation of the hands. It's because otherwise, before to that one, we need to work on a different point. So we need to work with sensors and dedicated on it, like what we see, for example, in the video with the furnishings and coloring and so on. So that it's important. That is something that the technology is evolving, I think that the touch is something that it will be a little bit taking a lot of time, because it's not so easy to manage, because you need to consider how to have the feeling of touching whatever things you can touch. Okay, so but the future will be there, absolutely. So that's why we are talking about seeing the object, watching the object, compared to touching it mostly. Because it's related to that part right now. And in the last 2 years, we already did a lot of different things. But of course, that when you try to touch something in the VR, you will never touch it right now. So let's see for the future, Marta. Absolutely, but it's a good point of discussion for the next years. Then training and support. Here it's fundamental. The metaverse, it's always more and more focused to trainings. Why? Because right now, with the new technologies that we have, and due to the point that we can use our hands, okay, the trainings related to metaverse are more and more important, because they can provide, especially for demonstrations, troubleshootings. Also in the healthy sector, it's really important, because they can make trainings of surgery without doing it. I mean that it's through the metaverse and through that point of view. Over there, of course, that we will not have the feeling of the doctor. Let's say they don't have the feeling to cut it, but they can use their tools, and they will use their hands, so they have the possibility to manage the tools, and then through the VR visualization, they will see also the part of the surgery that they need to do, and they can train it, such as, for example, the flights, or such as also driving cars, or a point like that one. So trainings are more and more important. It's a business that is growing in that matters, because all the most important companies are approaching it. From our point of view, and in our fields, we are using ER and not VR for the installation point of view. So for a customer, also over here, we are finishing a project that is dedicated to show to the customer how to install the project. So in the instructions, they have the QR, and through the QR, we will activate on the web a movie in ER that can show you how to open the box, how to install the components before to install it in the wall, such as for a manufacturer of heaters and boilers, how to open it and how to make the maintenance on it, such as to having and solving the troubleshooting assistance on that. So even that part is really important, because it's allow you to be more interactive with the customer, and from the other point of view, the customer can do it by their own, without asking you, or without having people dedicated of your staff for that point. And then, of course, the market expansions. Integrate ER and VR for the manufacturer can absolutely expand the offers and the market, because they are no more dedicated to standard market, but also a different market, because you will go to touch different approach and give the possibility to give them different exploration of the work itself. So due to that one, you can easily differentiate the brands, you can easily differentiate the product, you can easily provide innovative solutions. So that it's important, because they give you a different approach to the market itself. What it will be the future in details. So absolutely, as we say, the first easy way and fastest way for the future is to implement into e-shops, platform, e-commerce, product configurators, systems where you can, especially for ER, you can allow your customers to play with your products. And that is something that is always more and more dedicated, especially for furnishing and lightings. Then give a global accessibility. Due to that one, we have different kind of approaching. Absolutely. We have a questions da Gianmarco. Buongiorno Gianmarco. The lesson is interesting. The technology evolving in negative or positive, but the technology is important for the persons. I totally agree. I mean that it's always a matter to how to use it. ER, if I use ER for the scope of showing a products and so on, is something that is very helpful. I also see, for example, here in the office, that if I need to buy something that there is the ER or the possibility of the ER, I will use it to see it, how it will look like into the floor, or how it will look like the new chairs or whatever. From the other hand, when we enter mostly in VR, it's like the artificial intelligence. It's a very great tools, but we need to know how to use it, because it's not so. It's always due to the persons. I totally agree with you, Gianmarco, that it's always due to that one, because they are really nice tools, they are really nice technologies, but from the other hand, they need to be working in the proper way. Absolutely. Regarding, back to the PowerPoint, regarding the global accessibility, absolutely give the possibility to the user to enter directly in the products, or enter in a particular showrooms, see the products, work on it, disassembling, assembling. So they are infinitive, the possibility that we can give to the customers for both lighting and furnishing, of course. Or imagine also to have a space like in VR, where your customer can enter. They will find all your products. They can decide the color of the floor, they can decide the color of the walls, and so on. And then they can position the products as they wish. And they create their own home dedicated, or the home room dedicated to that one, understand how it will looks like, understand the spaces, and that it will be an experience for the customer, that it's incredible, because no one is giving this possibility right now. From the other hand, they can do even from their sofa, because they don't need to be in your showrooms, they don't need to be in your manufacturing companies, but they can do at home or in the office, developing, creating, and then they can share it to you and say, look, this is what I'd like to have, please supply me all the products that I needed. Okay, so this is, for example, in another point of view of using VR technologies. So not just only the things that we see before, but also give the possibility to install and to use the products in the full range. And then innovation, of course, as I say, the green aspect, it's always important, the environment. Everyone is talking about environment right now, but it's also important to talk on it, because due to the proper approach of ER and VR, I can easily select a product start from home instead to go to the showrooms. And so that one, it's already an impact that it's important for our environment, because in that way I can saving money in terms of the fuel. I can reduce the carbons because I don't use the cars. So there are a lot of advantages also in sustainability point of view, if you've seen the details, the possibility that ER and VR is giving you. So those is just it's a different point of view that I would like to share it with you during this webinar dedicated, because it was for me important that, as Gianmarco said before, understanding the technologies, understanding where it will be and where we will go in the early future in this way, because as I was explaining to you, Meta is working there, Apple is working there, so all the big players are working to go through the mixed reality or virtual reality through the metaverse and so on. So due to that one, it's something that we need to know, we need to understand, and we need to think on it as an increasing the experience the shopping experience and the company experience of your final user and your users, customers on that matters in different way, in an exhibition, on a product configurator, on a website, because we can also easily manage through the website. But in that way, we need to understand that it's really important, and it's the way where we are going to. Even on BIM, we are going in the VR, because if there are, for whom was in the other webinar, when we manage architectonic with structural, we can see directly from the BIM model. But sometimes we also make calls in VR to see exactly in that model all together how it will look like and how to solve the issue related to the conflict between, for example, architectonic and structural one. Okay, so those are the technologies that they are into the buildings, that they are into the fields, and that they need, from my point of view, to, as a manufacturer, thinking to be ready for the next future. I don't know if you have now any other questions.
So Roberto, you told us that these technologies are sustainable from different point of view, from economical, environmental, and also social point of view. My question is about the skills that the companies need to manage these technologies. I mean, you can support them at the beginning to create their objects and the virtual reality and so on, but does the company can be also independent after this first consultancy and update the program and have an exchange with the customer, or they need
Absolutely
external support?
No, absolutely. So with the solutions that we generate, we always give the possibility to the customers to be, for the manufacturer, to be 100% independent. So, for example, our solution, there are no any licenses or whatever. For us, we will generate a simple, let's say a simple, but a coding point of view. So we will generate the software or the integration of ER and VR as you wish. Then there will be always supply. There will be always supply a backend, we call it, from our side, where all the operation can be done in the future from the manufacturing, from the company. So due to that one, they can easily upload the new files, they can easily manage it, they can easily get in touch with them, they can easily configure and help the user to configure the products, and it's without any kind of ER license or whatever, because from our point of view, it's just the supporting to implement into the company, and then once that it's implementing, the company can do and manage everything by their own.
There is a question from Martha.
Yes.
At the beginning of these steps, so what's the cost in general and the first steps that the company has to do to approach these technologies? Sure.
So let's say that as a first steps, we need to understand, first of all, the kind of product and what is the final result that the company want to reach. For example, if the final result is to have the products through ER in the website in a simple way, as we've seen with Skeinholding and so on. So I select the object, I can see in 3D, and it's let's say static, because I can move in my real world, but I cannot configure directly from the ER or so on. So the cost and the time to introduce it is not that much. So it's pretty easy, faster, and that it's something that we can implement directly on the website itself, on a product page or whatever. After that, it depends if we want to, for example, implement through a configurator, so I can configure it, or if I want to implement it through a QR code or on a PDF or on a paper leaflet. It depends from the way, but at the end, it's not such a costly technology, because it's already a technology that it's available since a lot of years. As I was saying, the VR was the 1992, the first time that we discussed about VR. And our first sample of VR, it was since the 2016. So it's almost 10 years ago. Of course, that it depends what you would like to do. You want to do a showrooms with many things into and so on, there is a cost. Absolutely. But if you wanted to start just only to implement small parts into just a simple website or so on, it's really affordable. It's not very costly. And it's something that the customers can manage by their own. So it's pretty good. The first steps, what I always suggest is to start from the website. So for a product page, implement the ER and so on, and then starting to think on product configurator if the company is related to selling products through also the website on e-commerce and so on, or to give a customer experience to their interior designer, then that one is important as a second step, let's say.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see other questions in the chats, so I think that we can end here at the webinar. Thank you again, Roberto.
Absolutely.
And I remember all the attendees that we are recording the webinar, so we can send you the link. You can review the webinar. And so thank you again.
Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you, Antonella. It's always a pleasure to be with you here, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.